Really quick, everybody, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see when I post new videos like these. Enjoy! All right, friends, welcome in for another strength and stretch class today. This is one of the classes where we do, the majority of the class is strength, and then a small portion at the end we do kind of a recovery stretch. We also teach a purely strength class where there's no stretching at the end, but even at the end of that, you would probably want to kind of break off on your own and stretch. This one, stretching a little bit is included. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Today we have a slight emphasis on arms, okay? So if your shoulders are bugging you, you might skip out on, not the whole workout, but you might skip out on certain shoulder exercises and do other movements that you're familiar with from other classes, for example, that we do teach. So anyway, you might need to modify if it becomes too much on the arms. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Let's get moving. Now we will include leg movements, right? We will include some cardiovascular, aerobic stuff. I just have a slight emphasis toward arms is all. Jogging in place. Gotta warm up, gotta prime the muscles. All the soft tissues should be as malleable as possible before we get moving so we don't strain things, right? And settle down, kicking the legs. Turning the neck left and right, waking up the spine, waking up the cervical vertebrae, sure, whatever. The vertebrae in the neck. And then eyes forward, roll the shoulders, up, back, and down. Big shoulder rolls, big shoulder rolls. And switch directions, up, forward, and down, up, forward, and down. As usual, it's good to have a chair with no legs, with no wheels on it. I'm stumbling all over the place today, aren't I? Wall space is nice. To push off of or to hold on to. You don't have to have those things, but they're nice tools to use during these classes. Nice wide feet, sink at the knees and hips so that the knees are cushioned. You want your knees pointed in the same direction as your toes, okay? Rotate the spine. You can have your fists together, palms together, or just swing the arms. Borrow from Gong class if you want. Water is important in this class, so you can take breaks. Speaking of breaks, you want to take as many breaks as your body asks, right? Sure, we want to fight through fatigue, that's great, but don't push through pain, don't push through so much fatigue that you're being unsafe, right? Turn to the side and pause, take a nice deep breath and expand the lungs and the ribs. Exhale, unwind, head to the other side. Deep breath, expand the lungs and the ribs. Exhale, unwind. All right, feet come closer together, circles with the hips. So take as many breaks as you need to. And if I'm taking a break and you don't want to, right? You're not ready, you're raring to go, you want to keep moving, keep jogging, keep doing the previous move, right? If I'm over describing any particular move, switch directions. If I'm over describing any particular move and you're ready to move, don't wait for me, right? You don't have to wait for our timer to start in order for you to start. All right, marching the knees a little bit here. And getting the knees up just a little bit, right? This is not a core squeezing exercise. We're just warming up the hip flexors, these muscles kind of at the top of the legs that bring the knee upward, okay? So they flex the hips. And we are ready for our aerobic warm up. Jogging in place. You can pick up the feet if you like to. Sometimes instead of this move, I do jump rope where I keep my toes down and I do little circles with the wrists, right? I guess you could also pick the feet up here if you wanted to. Tapping the toes left and right. Jump ropes are great, but you don't even have to have one. Look at that. All right, side jacks. Tap the toe out as the arms come up. And I call these sloppy side jacks because my arms are bent, right? I'm not rigid with this. I feel a little bit safer with my arms coming up and just kind of flopping them around, right? Just be safe for your body. For me, that looks like this. Feels more natural to bend my elbows than to keep them stiff. Gentle warm up with our aerobic movements. All right, and add punching in here. Punching as we step side to side. Breathing. And 3, 2, 1. High knee pull down. Reaching up with the arms. Pull down as we rise with the knee. So pull down, squeeze the core, reach up. Pull down, squeeze the core, reach up. You don't have to reach that high, right? This is about the spine and abdominals contracting, getting them warmed up so that we can do our next move, which will be our first move of our circuit today. All right. Come out of that, shake it out. Remember, good idea is to have water on hand. Chair's great, wall's great. You don't have to have yoga mats, but if you put your hands on the ground, you might want them. I'm gonna get my little weights here, and I'll have a couple options for myself. Now, you don't have to have tons and tons. That's too heavy for me today. We don't have to have tons and tons of weights. It's more about intentionality, squeezing the muscles for a lot of these things. Bands can be nice. I don't have any, but they work very similar. They just get harder the farther you stretch them, right? So you can do a lot of the same body mechanics that we do today with bands if you like, stepping on them and such. Our first move though, even though it's an arm day, we're gonna tighten up the core with planks. I like to start with this move in all of our strength classes, and this primes the spine for safety throughout the class. So you decide if you want to do this. This way is my favorite. With my hands on a chair, nice tight core, a fairly straight line from the heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. You could do this at the floor if you prefer. I think it's even a little bit harder. Or you could do this at a wall. Nice tight core, fairly straight line from the heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. Okay, so you do the version that works the best for you. I'm gonna start our 1 minute timer here.
1 minute, starting now.
All right, we've got 1 minute counting down. You're welcome to get started here. Nice tight core, fairly straight line, heels, hips, shoulders, and ears. Give yourself a couple good exhales and squeeze the abdominals as you exhale. What you don't want to do is droop down really, really far at the waist. But if you bring your bottom up for a rest, that's okay, right? That's not damaging, it's just a little bit less effective. So it's okay to bring your bottom up if you need to. Tuck the tail, squeeze the abdominals. Give it a good exhale. Think strong and sturdy for the spine. With your eyes, you want to look down on the chair if you're touching the chair, down on the floor if you're touching the floor, or slightly down on the wall if you're touching the wall. You want to keep your eyes in line with your sternum, right? Don't look left and right at me or at a mirror. Okay. Coming up out of that, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. This next move here is a bouncing squat. So we pulse with an isometric front shoulder raise. Sounds like a mouthful. I would recommend the lightest weight you have. I don't know what you have, but the lightest weight you have if you're gonna hold on to anything, because this is a fairly new move that I haven't taught in a while. So unlock the knees, sink down, arms come forward, nice tight core, and I'm just bouncing the legs. So this is a leg workout with an isometric shoulder effort as well. I'm using my lightest weight. You don't have to use weights at all though, right? You can just bring the arms forward and bounce here. Make fists, squeeze the shoulders, pull the shoulder blades back and down so that the shoulder blades are nice and safe there. Okay, I'm gonna grab my weight. Here's our 1 minute timer, and start whenever you feel ready. There we go. So again, this is an arm emphasis day, but there will be lots of other body parts that we're using at the same time. Nice tight core, nice vertical spine. Breathing. The depth of the squat is not critical. You could go lower than me if you like. You can come higher than me if you like. But you don't want the weights to come above the height of the shoulders. Lower is better. Lower is safer. Almost done here. And next up, we'll have simultaneous bicep curls. Here's our timer. Where's our timer? And it's good. All right. Next up here, simultaneous bicep curls look like this. Toes are forward, shoulder blades back, curling at the same time. It's okay with me if you want to do thumb up or thumb out, which is a hammer curl or a supinated curl. Doesn't matter to me. I like to have one foot forward for good front to back stability, and you decide how much weight is enough or too much for you, right? Just make sure if you're picking up a heavy weight for yourself, you're not swinging like this. You don't want swinging momentum, right? You're cheating yourself out of results, and you're also making it unsafe. So it's bad on two accounts. So go slow and steady, up and down. Both arms at the same time. And here's our timer. Timer's going. I'm going to increase my weight here just a little bit because these muscles are stronger for me, right, than the last move. So simultaneous bicep curl, up and down with good control. Shoulder blades back, chest up, nice and vertical spine. I like 1 foot forward and 1 foot back. And you can move faster than this, right? You can move quite a bit faster than this as long as you are moving with control. Keep your eyes straight forward, whatever direction your sternum is going. Don't look left and right at me. Okay, and this is move number 3 out of 3 for this circuit. After this, we're going to move back to move number 1, which is our plank. Slow and steady biceps curl. There's our timer. And I'm going to set these down out of the way so they're not a tripping hazard. Here's our plank. Take your time getting there. I'm going to get right into it. Timer's going. You could be at the chair, you could be at the floor, you could be at the wall. You decide what works for you. Nice tight core. Give it a good exhale and squeeze the abdominals. Sure we're breathing. Eyes down just a little ways on the wall, the floor, or the chair. Next up is our bouncing squat, our pulsing squat with front shoulder raises. And there's our timer. Okay. Here it is again. Timer's going. Shoulder blades back and down. I'm going to grab my light weight again. Holding on to one weight with two hands, or you could have two different weights if it's light enough, right? Sink down at the knees and hips, bring the arms forward, and I'm just bouncing with the legs a little bit. Right, kind of gets your body to respond, right? Get your quadriceps to respond to your weight moving around with gravity. Okay, I'm just going to turn here for another view for you guys. Shoulder blades back and tuck them down. Your arms can be slightly bent, right? If this gets to be too much with the arms straight, that's okay for me. If you have your bent elbows, that's all right for me. It was a long minute. This is a tough one for me. Come out of it if you need to, and back into it whenever you're ready. Oh yeah, there's our timer. Okay, round 2 of simultaneous biceps curls. Shake out the arms if you need to. Remember to take the breaks that you need, although I'm gonna take a break right after this simultaneous bicep curl. Here's our timer. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Shoulder blades back and down, and curling. You decide if you're doing hammer curls or supinated curls where the palms turn up, thumbs turn out. I sort of hammer at the bottom and supinate at the top. Make sure we're exhaling. I like to inhale on the way down and exhale during the contraction. That ensures that I don't do a Valsalva maneuver where you hold your breath and press down, right? We don't want to do that. Not great for our heart rate, not great for our blood pressure. Almost there. And set these aside. All right. Again, don't overdo your weights, right? Listen to your body. Slow and steady is a fine pace. With health, fitness, weight management, that kind of progress, slow and steady is fine. Consistency is more important than trying to make massive results and then getting hurt, right? We don't want that. I'll tell you what, you get way less results if you're sidelined, right? Just try not to get injured and do the best you can. All right, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. We're gonna get the upper body a little bit of a rest here while we do some lower body moves. And we'll get back to it though. Our first move here is a tip and kick. So I'm gonna tip left, kick right, tip right, kick left. I'm punching, sure. It's not really doing a lot for my arms. Mostly it's helping with my balance. I do like to hold onto a wall though. So instead of just freestanding tip and kicking, I prefer to hold onto a wall. That way I'm not thinking about my balance really. Height of the kick is not critical here. These could be very low. In fact, they could be tapping the toe on the ground, helping again with balance, right? And stability. I like to add one extra dash of spice here. I like to add a little squat as I land with the foot. Land with the foot and add a squat. If you want to do that for your legs, you'll get a little bit more calorie burn there, a little bit more leg emphasis. So you choose where you decide where your energy's at and whether or not you're going to add a squat. So tip and kick, add a squat. When you add a squat, you want to go slow and silent, right? You're sneaking that squat in. You're just tapping the toe to the ground quietly, and that'll demonstrate and also work on body control. All right, shoulders back, spine nice and upright. Okay, again, I like to face a wall personally. Could also hold on to the back of a chair, but chairs move. Hopefully walls don't. Good work, good work. All right. Next up, I's, Y's, and T's. Shake out the legs. Breathe in here. I's, Y's, and T's look like this. We've got 3 different directions. We've kind of already done I's isometrically. This is forward, diagonal, and out to the sides. Okay? Here's what it looks like from the side. Forward, diagonal, and out to the sides. At no point do I want to bring my hands higher than the height of the shoulders. So whether they're forward, I don't want to come up here. Diagonal, don't want to come up here. Side, don't want to come up here. I'm going to keep them here or lower. Shoulder height or lower. It doesn't decrease the effectiveness very much to have lower hands, but it does massively increase the safety of the move. Right? So don't give up very much to get a lot of safety points. So if If you want to bring your hands lower, that's fine, right? Now, if you know that you can raise your arms nice and safe out to parallel, then that's great. I still wouldn't go above that. I'm going to get my lighter weights. Here's our timer. I'm getting my lighter weights for this one because shoulders, I mean, you might have strong shoulders, right? But it's just such a long arm on this, such a long lever, right? On this shoulder joint. It's kind of hard to lift heavy weights this way. Eyes, diagonal wise, and you want to be in control. And tease. Pull the shoulder blades down. Here's what we don't want to do. Shrug the shoulders up. We don't want to do that and come out, right? Keep them down, down, down. Okay. Eyes, wise. My knees are just unlocked a little bit, right? It's not an intentional squat or anything. It's just unlocked so that I got some flow in my knees, flow of blood, and tease. Forward, diagonal, eyes are straight forward. If I don't look at you, it's nothing against you, right? It's just because I want to keep my eyes straight forward in line with my sternum, right? I don't want to look left and right at a mirror or at you guys. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. All right. This move is a shuffle to the right, squeeze the core. Shuffle to the left, squeeze the core. So we're going left and right. Getting the heart rate up a little bit here. Left, right, left, right, left, right. You don't need a lot of space to move here. You can be pretty stationary. You want to be a little bit quiet on the feet though, not that you're offending anybody with sound, but you want to be light on the toes. Again, demonstrating control and working on control, a lot like the tip and kick, okay? Here's our timer, counting down. So shuffle to the side, squeeze the core. Shuffle to the side, shuffle and exhale, shuffle and exhale. As you exhale, really get a good abdominal squeeze there. Right. After this, we'll be on to a fourth move for this circuit, okay? So we did 3 moves in the first circuit. This one's got 4. Almost there. All right, this fourth move is an Arnold press. So it's a combination. You want to unlock the knees and sink down a little bit. I often do 1 foot forward and 1 foot back so that we have front to back stability here. I would grab some weights, but if you haven't done this move, make them light. Work on the movement versus wearing yourself out if you haven't done this very much. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. It's a bicep curl. Come out a little ways and then press up. My angle for pressing up is about the Y shape. So eyes are forward, right? I don't necessarily push my elbows straight forward for this move, and I also don't do the T's. I don't push straight up for this move. Mine's about a diagonal 45-ish degree angle. And I think that's the most safe for my shoulders. If you need to adjust and go wider or narrower, it's fine with me. So again, it's a curl, out, and press. You can have split feet versus 1 forward and 1 back. You can have them nice and wide and sink like this. In fact, I might try that for a round. But you decide what works for you. Here's our timer. Slow and steady with good control. Okay, so curl, out a little ways, and press. So now I'm not squatted down because I want to work the muscles in the legs here. I'm squatted down because my ceiling is so short that I'll smash my ceiling if I stand straight up. Okay, so you don't necessarily need to squat down. Here's what it looks like when I typically do it. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Curl, out, and press. Control it down, control it down. This is move number 4 out of 4. I might get a sip of water after this. Eyes stay straight forward. You don't want to look left and right. It's pretty critical on this one. When your scapula is moving, when your shoulders are moving, you really don't want to look left and right. Breathing. Eyes are forward. Tuck the tail. Nice straight spine. There we go. All right, I'm going to get a sip of water, and then we'll repeat that circuit of 4 moves. Great job, everybody. If you're getting worn out, you're not the only one. If you're not worn out yet, that's okay. We got more coming. All right, these 4 moves, same 4 moves. I'm going to move through them a little bit faster now. Less description on round 2, right? So here we go. Tipping and kicking is first. Make sure there's no tripping hazards, right? Set our timer down. Tip and kick. Add a squat if you want. Tip and kick. Add a squat if you want. By the way, yoga mats are tripping hazards, right? I use yoga mats so I know how close I can get to the camera and so that I know you can see my feet. But you don't want to catch your toe on the edge of a yoga mat or a rug or any other kind of threshold. Be all the way on whatever surface you're on. Also, facing a wall helps for stability on this move. Tip and kick. All right, the move after this, just so we're ready, is eyes, Ys, and Ts. Don't bring the hands any higher than the height of the shoulders. And here it comes. Breathing the whole way. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. I'm going to start our timer right away here. Take your time getting there though. No rush. I'm going to get my lighter weights. Unlock the knees just a little bit. It's not a deep squat, it's just an unlock. Eyes, Ys, and Ts out to the sides. Keeping the shoulder blades down and back. Keeping the eyes forward. Spine nice and vertical. I think I was jutting my bottom out there a little bit. Let me show you what I mean. So I don't want to do this. I don't want to jut my bottom out. That's a lot of strain on the low back. Instead, tuck the tail so that the spine is more vertical, even at the low end, even at the tail. Forward, diagonal, and sides. Forward. And you can go your own pace. You could be way ahead of me if you want, as long as you're in control of the weights. There's our timer. Next up is shuffle to the left, shuffle to the right. You decide which side you're on, doesn't matter to me. Ready, go. And squeeze the core. Shuffle and squeeze, shuffle and squeeze. Give it a good exhale as you squeeze. Eyes up, looking proud. You guys are doing awesome. Remember to take breaks whenever you need to. You don't have to wait for me to take a break. This is move number 3 out of 4 for our second round of our second circuit. What that means is we've got 1 move left here before I take another break. So bicep curls, what was it? Followed by overhead press. Arnold press, that's what it's called, is next. The Arnold press. Squeezing the core as the knee comes across. You could slow it down to be even more intentional if you want. Light on the feet. There's our timer. All right, final move in this round, in this circuit, is Arnold press. Think about what weight you used last time. Was it too light? Do you need more? Was it too heavy? Do you need less, right? Don't risk injuries with your shoulders and back and neck and really anything. Here we go. And timer's going. I say that like it matters. You know you don't have to wait for the timer. 1 forward, back. What? 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. Curl, out, and press. Control it down. Control it down. You can go faster than this for sure. Breathing. Almost there. Make sure we're breathing. All right, weights down, out of the way completely. Get a drink of water, everybody. That's 2 full circuits. We're doing great. All right. We're gonna have one last circuit here. It'll be tough, it'll be good. One last circuit here before we get to our stretching portion of the class. Like I said, arm emphasis today, but with other stuff included. So there's gonna be more arms here in this one. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs a little bit. And this move here is a narrow squat, lateral arm raise. Okay, so we just did some of the front deltoids with our press, did some biceps with our curl. These are the lateral deltoids, right? The head of the shoulder here that's on the sides coming out. This is the T portion of I's, Y's, and T's, although I'm going to include my legs, okay? So my legs are just coming up and down a little bit. It does not need to be a deep squat. If it were a leg emphasis day, I might suggest going as low as what's comfortable for you while keeping the spine nice and straight, right? Hinging at the hips, not rounding at the spine. Hinge at the hips, don't hunch at the spine, and then coming up. However, I'm not focusing on legs today, maybe you are, but that means I'm gonna unlock the knees and just barely come up with the legs, swinging, but you know, with control of the arm. So T's and down, T's and down. It gets to be a lot. Partial range of motion is great here. You can go like in this kind of mid-range area for the whole minute, and it is a ton, right? The lower the weights are, the safer this is gonna be on your shoulders. So if you come all the way out here, you're getting higher and higher risk as well. So don't bring your hands up high. Here's our timer. And we're going. Okay, I'm gonna get my light weights. Shoulders back, sink down, and out and down. Right, so I'm sticking with this kind of mid-range of motion for the arms. I'm using my legs a little bit for a little bit of extra oomph, but I'm still in control. Shoulder blades are down. That's important. We don't wanna shrug them up like this. Don't wanna do that. If you're doing that, you gotta reduce the weights. It's too much weight if you're shrugging the shoulders like that. That means you're just using your traps, you're not using the deltoids. You're gonna strain your neck if you do that. You can slow it down here, and oh my goodness, slowing it down is not easier, it's tough. So it's a miniature squat and a lateral shoulder raise. There's our timer. Let's set them down. Shake out the legs, shake out the arms. Okay, I'm gonna give the arms just a brief break here for another move. This is gonna be a leg-based move. Glutes specifically. If you wanna face a wall and go side to side, that's great, you can do that. If you wanna face a chair, holding onto the seat, look at that, my yoga mat's caught. Hands on the chair, unlock the knees, and squeeze the glutes as you come back. Squeeze the glutes as you come back. That's also good. So it's a slightly different angle on the glutes. You can also do that same kickback facing a wall like this. Look at that, I'm kicking my chair, okay? Move stuff out of your way. So you can face a wall and kick back. You can face a wall and bring the legs left and right, or you can face a chair, and kick back. There are other combinations here. You can be on your hands and knees, but you don't want to swing the leg with momentum, okay? This is a slow and steady leg raise or pendulum with the legs, because you don't want to cheat yourself, right? You don't want to use momentum. Your body won't be using energy. It'll just be using leverage of momentum. So I'm going to face the wall here, start our timer, and holding on, nice tight core. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the glutes. Nice vertical spine. The core is engaged the entire time. Making sure we exhale. Good work, friends. We've got about 30 seconds left. Breathing. Right now it feels like an arm and a leg emphasis. All right, slowing it down on the legs. Definitely want to minimize momentum. All right, shaking it out, shaking it out. Wiggle the hips left and right maybe. Come up with the knee and across just to relieve some tension there in the glutes. All right, next move, number 3 in this circuit is an alternating bicep curl. So earlier, we did the same time, simultaneous, right? Hammer's fine, horizontal, supinated is fine as well. I'm gonna get my weights and I'm gonna go left and right like this. Left, right, as one comes up, the other one goes down. You'll get more repetitions in if you do it that way. As one comes up, the other one goes down. You'll get less repetitions in if you do it this way. Down and up, down and up. So they're completely taking turns. That's fine, right? If the weight is heavier, maybe you need less repetitions. Maybe you only need 6 or 8 repetitions in your minute. If you need more because your weights are lighter, then alternate. What would that be called? Alternate simultaneously? As one rises, the other one falls. Here's our timer. I've got 1 foot forward usually for this one. If you're getting more fatigued, you might have to decrease the resistance. Use resistance bands, step on it, something like that. And curling left and right. If it feels light for you, you might pick up the pace a little bit, but you still don't want to be swinging like this, right? Don't do that stuff. Slow and steady. Safe and effective. Breathing. Nice tight core. Keep the eyes in line with the sternum. Straight forward. Shoulder blades stay down. We're getting there. All right, this is our final move in this circuit, in this series. So I'm gonna take a brief break before we do our round 2 of these same 3 moves. There's our timer. Making sure we're breathing the whole time. All right, shake it out. Heart rate might be up. Mine is, I'm starting to sweat. Whew. Get a brief break, get some water, and we are so close. We are doing good. So remember, there's benefit to doing the total body approach, right? You might burn more calories on those days. But there's also benefit to having target areas like the arm days or the leg days. Those days, you might not burn more calories on that day, but you build your engine to burn more calories in the following several days. So you're making your muscles stronger, which builds your capacity to burn calories, your metabolism, right? Your muscle is your engine for burning. So when we work on strengthening those muscles, you're set up for burning calories tomorrow, right? You might even be hungrier, I don't know. Sorry if you're hungry. What is next? Okay, these 3 moves: unlock the knees, lateral arm raises. It's kind of It's a tiny miniature squat, right? It could be lower if you want to focus on that, great. Burns more calories to go lower, I'm sure, but that's not my focus today, so I'm gonna stay up high. Lateral arm raise, don't bring the hands any higher than the shoulders. And my friends, here comes the timer. It's going. Light weights for me. Unlock the knees, and we're on a roll. Eyes are forward, shoulder blades are back. Remember, while I'm on my soapbox about science and how to succeed in health and fitness, right? This is my outlet for that. I get to tell you guys how I feel about stuff and what I know. But while I'm talking about that stuff, you can keep moving if you want. You can keep jogging, keep kicking, tipping and kicking, those kind of things. Planks. If you need the rest, then take the rest. But if you don't need it, don't let me waste your time. Time's valuable. You guys got it. Okay. Lateral leg raises or bent over glute extensions are next. Whew, I need a little break here. Shoulder blades back and down. And I'm ready for more. Sometimes a 2-second break is all I need. Sometimes a 2-minute break is what I need. Depends on the movement. Depends on the exercise. All right, weights are out of the way. They're not a tripping hazard. My annoying timer is done. Okay, this one, bent forward, squeeze the glutes as the leg lines up with the spine, or lateral leg raises. I'll do mine at the chair this time because I didn't do it last time, and wow, I feel like I really neglected my chair today, you guys. I just didn't need it as much. That's all right. That's a good thing. Here's our timer. Nice tight core, fairly straight spine. Unlock the knees. Squeeze the glutes, left and right. You don't have to come all the way up. If it's lower, that's fine, but you don't want to come beyond lined up with the spine, right? You don't want to hyperextend. Breathing. Squeezing the glutes. Almost done. We've got one move after this. That is the alternating bicep curl. You decide your pace. You decide your weight. You decide your intensity level. Which kind of means you decide your results, right? Work hard, getting stronger, living longer. All right, here it comes, the timer. There we go. All right, alternating biceps curls, and then I'm gonna get to our recovery stretching. Timer's going. You decide the weight that's appropriate for you. Did I mention you guys rock? Good job today. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, curling left and right. Shoulder blades back, tuck the chin back. Whatever foot you had forward last time, you kind of want to alternate that so that you work on some stabilizing stance and muscle symmetry, right? Left foot forward all the time means you're probably going to have some dominant muscles on one side in certain areas, front or back. Right foot forward, same thing. So we want to alternate. I don't remember which foot I had forward last time. If it was left or right, doesn't matter. It's okay. Breathing, slow and steady. And they don't have to be this slow, but you want to be in control. Almost done. There's our timer. All right, everybody, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. Good work, good work, good work. If you've got some water, get a sip of water. If your body's just begging you to keep moving, right? By all means, go for it. You can keep jogging. You can keep doing side jacks. You can keep punching, right? You can squat and throw some fists. You can keep on burning calories if you've got energy, right? Know yourself, know your limits though. And here we are for our recovery stretch. We just did some exercise and heart rates are up, you might be sweating. The muscles are more elastic right now. They're more stretchy. They're also more swollen than when you're at a resting state. So now is a good time for a recovery style stretch. The stretches we do here are not to gain range of motion. They're to recover, to prevent injuries, and to recover more quickly, right? So recovery stretch, we call it. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs, roll the shoulders. Looks a lot like our warm-ups, by the way. And switch directions. You can keep moving around too. Turn the head left and right, and it's gentle, right? You might have more mobility right now even. If you're very mobile after exercise, right? You get things warmed up. It's like putty in the microwave. Things move more. You might move too much. There is such thing as I'm used to moving like this. Suddenly I move so much farther, then I hurt something. So that's another reason we do this recovery stretch cool down so that we go back to a normal, what's called length tension relationship. How much tension you have when your muscle gains more length. Okay, anyway, sink down, rotate the spine a little bit. Bring my feet closer together. I'm going to do circles with the hips. I might go a little bit longer here than I normally would for the recovery stretch. So if you've got to go, then that's fine. But I'm going to keep on moving for a minute. Switch the other direction. But I'm going to try to do a full recovery stretch. All right, marching the knees. This is our cool down, right? Looks a lot like the warm-up, like I said. And here we go. I'm going to start up at the top. If we did a lot of arm movements in any given exercise, then the shoulders are often involved, and that makes our traps kind of sore. So what we want to do here is tilt the ear toward the shoulder, keeping the eyes straight forward. So I'm not looking down at my shoulder. I'm going to tilt just to the side a little bit. And be gentle here. Remember, you might be moving more than you're used to. Tilt to the side, then we breathe in and shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, bring the fingertips down toward the ground. Getting some stretch on the side of the neck that we're tilting away from. Breathing in, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale and down. Coming on up. Exhale and down. One last one here, up. And exhale, shoulders reach down. Okay, come up with the head and roll the shoulders a couple times. Other side, right ear toward the right shoulder or the left to the left, doesn't matter, whatever side you're on. Looking for tension on the side that you're tipping away from. Eyes are forward, not down at the shoulder. And let's shrug the shoulders up as we breathe in. Exhale and reach the fingertips down toward the ground. Reminder to unlock the knees, right? You don't want to lock the knees out. As we get fatigued, we kind of go toward our laziest selves, right? Our easiest stance postures, so we don't want to stay suspended on locked knees. Come on up with the shoulders. And exhale, sinking down with the shoulders. And up. And down. Last one, eyes are still forward. And down. Come on up with the head. Roll the shoulders just a couple times here and other way. One more neck move and then we'll work our way down the arms. Head down, nose is down toward the ground, and I'm just going to rock very gently. My forehead's going to go over my right hip and toe, left hip and toe. Okay, so I'm not looking over my shoulder. It's just a slight, small sway left and right. Right, a little pendulum swing. Unlock the knees. I got to remind myself over and over. Okay, I'm going to slow it down. Left, 2, 3, and right, 2, 3. Left, 2, 3. Last one to the right, 2, 3. And come on up. Shrug the shoulders last time. Okay. For the chest muscles here, and you might get some biceps, although if the elbow, right, I've done hand therapy before, elbow therapy, where people have injuries and they have contractures and you can't extend the elbow all the way. Those folks are going to get some stretch in the biceps. Most people with the arm perfectly straight are not going to feel a stretch in the biceps. Although, when you're feeling sore, like if you do this type of stretch tomorrow, you might feel it in the biceps when you extend the arm. Maybe. Anyway, here we are. This is for the chest. I'm going to come down and across, up and back, slow, 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 right? Down and across, up and back, super, super slow. So we're looking for some diagonal pull here in the chest muscles. Okay? Again, you might feel tension in the biceps if they're really puffy. Depends on how much weight you use and how much intensity you get out of an exercise. And this is for the chest again. That's our primary target. Up and back. Sometimes I do the circles, and that's great for a lot of people, but every once in a while you get somebody who cannot do those circles and it pinches things in their shoulders. So I'm avoiding that one today. You're welcome to do it if you're familiar with the circles. Down and across is the one I chose today. All right, I'm going to switch sides. Down and across. Up and back. Again, you're welcome to do circles if you prefer that. Just know your limits on sensation. You don't want any kind of pinching pain on those. And if you have a known shoulder injury, you might back off on the big circles. Just a few more here, slow and steady, good control, in and out of tension. So these are not static stretches for improved range of motion. These are active stretches for recovery. Last one here, for me anyway. And down and across. Roll the shoulders a few times, both directions. All right. Again, if you have a known shoulder injury, skip this one. So I'll be brief with it for those who are going to skip it. We won't spend a long time on it. Right arm comes across, give it a hug, and I'm going to rotate in and out of tension on the deltoid. Most people don't feel this tension because that's a very mobile joint. It's not a very stable joint. So it's just usually people aren't tight on the lateral deltoid, although you might be after a lot of lateral shoulder raises tomorrow. So pull it across and rotate. And you're welcome to do these same stretches tomorrow as well. In and out of tension, okay? Switching, you're welcome to go longer on that. Give it a hug and rotate. Okay, things are connected, right? So you might feel tension in the back as well, which is going to be our next muscle group. Okay, light rotations. Roll the shoulders back. We do a lot of that, right? And clasping the hands together, let's push left and right. So clasping together, we're rounding the shoulders as we push to the side. Back to the center, push to the side. What we're stretching here are the rhomboids. These are the muscles between the shoulder blades and spine. And during an upper body class, right, a lot of upper body exercises, you may be contracting these as you move, but you may also be contracting these in an isometric fashion where you're just placing and holding for stability, right? They're not actually moving, but they're still working. So you want to stretch these guys as well. Clasping the hands, push to the side, center, side, center. Now, intensity, when you're talking about stretching, slow and steady wins the race. You don't want to be too intense, but there is a line, right? If you're too gentle here, if you're just shaking the maracas left and right, you're not really getting those arms over there, you probably won't get anything out of it. So you want to look for some kind of sensation of stretch. If you don't find it, that's fine. That may just be because, right, you just basically microwaved your muscles if you're warm, right? You've softened the putty. You know I don't mean that, right? You didn't microwave the muscles, but you warmed them up so much that they can move more. So you might not feel tension. Okay? Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. All right, working our way down the body. Shake out the legs if you need to. Clasping the hands together again. This is my favorite lat stretch for active lat stretch for recovery. Clasping the hands, we come up and out, down to the center, up and out. Okay, this is another one of those where if you're sore tomorrow and you do this stretch, you might feel tension. If you're just recently exercised and you got blood through the body, you might not feel it right now, but it's still good for recovery. So we come up and across. The hands and hips go the same way. The ribs go the opposite way. So if my hands and hips are going right, my ribs are going left, or at least trying to. Down to the center, hands and hips go left, ribs go right. Hopefully that makes sense. A little zigzag here, kind of. Let me show you that in another angle here. Kind of reaching over. And do 6, 12, 15, something like that for each of these. If you prefer this one, I don't like it as much, but some people love it, so I share it. Hands up, left and right, overhead. The only reason I don't like it, right? It's a great stretch. The only reason I don't like it is it's hard to breathe for me. Maybe it's just that I'm instructing and talking a lot, but blah, 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 Kelly again. Left and right, overhead is a good stretch. It's just hard for me to breathe with my hands up high like that. So you decide if that works for you. I don't know. Shake it out, shake it out. You're welcome to do more with that. I have a ton more lat stretches that I teach in my full body, full hour stretch class, but those are more static and anchored, and those aren't necessarily appropriate for this type of recovery right now, right? Those are for more mobility and other factors of muscle health and safety. All right, marching the knees, tuck the tail a little bit, take some pressure off the low back. You could do this. I'm going to borrow this from yoga, okay? If you've got a chair, go for it. If you don't have a chair, I would skip this move, and that's okay. Nice wide feet, hands together, and we sink down at the knees and hips with a nice vertical spine. Once your hands touch the chair, and if you want to, right, you don't have to do the whole yoga arms up and circle out. You don't have to swan dive. But you want to keep your spine nice and vertical, holding onto a chair, and as you lean forward, you get a little bit of a hamstring stretch here, and you roll up with the low back, tucking the chin as well. So the idea here is I wouldn't call it stretching a muscle per se, but connective tissue in all these bound up joints, right? Small, tiny joints in the low back that feel bound up after a lot of like weighted stabilization, staying upright, doing curls, doing lunges, doing these guys, right? Doing lots of different exercises will bind up the low back and make it feel like there's tension. So we just sink down, and I'll do 3 of these. Tuck the tail, tuck the chin, bottom up first, and roll up with each vertebrae, slow and steady. Okay? You don't have to do the swan dive, arm stuff if you don't want to. Circling, bottom up, tuck the tail, rolling up with each vertebrae. One last one here. Bottom up, tuck the tail, tuck the chin, rolling up with each vertebrae. Okay? And one comes after the other. It's like you're snaking up. You don't want to bend and spring out of it. You don't want to bend and snap, right? You want to bend and then roll. Okay, next up, this is light. This is for the glutes. I don't do a lot of standing glute stretches. I do a lot of seated and tons of floor glute stretches, but those again are more static. This one is an active one and it's very light. You just come up and across with the knee. Now you might hold on to a wall like this and help the knee across with the opposite hand. So if this is your right leg that you're pulling across, use your left hand to pull across. Left leg pulls to the right, right leg pulls to the left. Okay, so it's just a light glute stretch. Now I don't usually teach a lot of static standing where you place and hold glute stretches because some of my folks have balance issues and it's just better to be in a chair. And the stretches in the chair and the floor are more effective for that mobility. This is for recovery, right? Just another reminder. This one's for recovery. Okay, next up, hamstrings. Hamstrings, let's do it. Hamstring swings, holding onto a wall, heel down, toe up, and it's light. It's very mild. It should not be a cheerleader toe touch, right? It should not be as high as you can possibly go. Okay, it's a heel down, toe up. You do want to get some kind of tension there, and you might even slow it down and use one hand to kind of help it up just a little if you're not able to get the weight of your leg up, right? If you're ever fatigued from your hip flexors being tired from a class that's maybe heavy on legs, you might use your arms to help just a little bit. Okay? If you're ever seated and you want to do this, I like this one. Knee up and extend, knee up and extend. It's not a joint mobilization exercise, so don't worry about getting the knee perfectly straight, right? You don't need to have the legs go perfectly straight. We do want some tension in the hamstrings though, so come up and extend, up and extend. And you could do these for a whole minute if you wanted to, because the hamstrings are a large, long, big muscle in the body, and they might need more attention, right? So I'm gonna move on, but you're welcome to stick with that longer. Next up, hip flexors. These are the muscles right in here, front of the hips. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. We're almost done. We got about, I don't know, 3 more I'd estimate. And it's not a long step, right? It does not need to be like as far as you can possibly reach. It's just a small stride back, tuck the tail, squeeze the glutes, and then just rock forward a little bit, right? Just a little bit of in and out of tension, changing the intensity as we kind of rock forward to back, right here in front of the hips. The cues again, tuck the tail versus flaring the tail up, right? We want to tuck the tail, squeeze the glutes, and push the hips forward. Rocking front to back. Nice vertical spine, tall and proud, right? Tall and proud because you're almost done. And we're almost done. Tip forward, switch feet. Again, it doesn't need to be like the longest stride you can possibly do. In fact, if it's longer, it's really hard to tuck the tail, and it's also really hard to rock safely. So smaller stride might be better. Tuck, squeeze, and a little bouncing. Breathing, breathing, breathing. So we worked our way from the top to the bottom in this recovery stretch today, but you're welcome to go the other way around as well. And tip forward, march the knees just a little bit. Anytime we stretch something, right, blood kind of leaves that area, right? It's like you're wringing it out almost. You're stretching it, and you want to refill that area by activating those muscles and return it to a good length tension relationship, right? So just reactivate them after you move them. That's why when we do our neck stretches, we follow up with roll the shoulders, make sure everything's still moving okay. All right, next up, adductors. These are the muscles on the inner line of the leg. They bring the legs together. So to stretch them, bring the legs apart. Holding onto a chair is my favorite way to do this, but you could hold onto a wall. Nice wide feet. And lunge left and right. Okay, I'm going to show you a few different angles of this, but you want nice wide feet as you weight shift left and right. The only thing you want to avoid here, and it's not because it's going to injure us, it's because it's almost useless. If you have narrow feet and your hips, right, your bottom, your sway is going beyond your base of support, it's okay, sure, it could be a fall risk, but that's not my worry. It's just that it's not getting a lot of tension on the inner leg there. So you want to come wider. This might not even be wide enough for me because I can sway beyond that. I want to go wide enough to where I'm pushing my hip downward. Right? Obviously, it's not going to go that far. It's not going to touch the ground, but I'm pushing downward as I kind of lunge left and right, getting tension on the inner leg kind of in here. Tension on the inner leg, kind of in here, okay, right in this area. Now you can multitask. This is a good one for multitasking. You can rock back and get some hamstrings in at the same time. Okay, rocking back left and right. Not all stretches are good for multitasking. Usually when you do two things at once, one of them kind of wavers and falls by the wayside. So that one's good though. You can kind of get everything, hamstrings and hip flexors going. No, not hip flexors. Hamstrings and adductors, ADD. Okay. Last up here, shake out the arms and shake out the legs. Calves. We've got our calves. So I like to hold on to a wall or a chair and rock front to back. Okay, so a wall or a chair and rock front to back. And it's very much like the last move. I don't know if I said that I was going to show you a wall version, but the last move, right? If you're holding onto a wall, you can lunge left and right as well. Sorry, I'm moving back and forth now. Yeah, you can hold onto a wall. I like the chair version better though for that last move. So calves, I'm on to calves. 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And I'm just kind of rocking front to back. It's gentle, but there's some horizontal pressure, right, pushing backward. If you do this without a wall or without a chair, without anything to push on, that's fine. It's not going to hurt you, but there might be, you know, some lacking intensity here, right? There's nothing to push on if I don't have anything to push on. Duh. Okay. That seems like it goes without saying. Anyway, 1 foot back, I would hold on to a wall. That's my preference as I kind of rock here. That front foot is not critical. It can kind of go wherever. It's just there for some stability. Most of the pressure's in my back foot anyway. All right. Coming out of that. All right, friends, don't forget to subscribe to see when I post new videos on this channel. And I will see some of you in my live classes and some of you right here. So until next time, bye-bye.